On the main line, we frequently run into people who are making the decision about whether they should move or renovate. In other areas where there's a lot of new construction, it seems like people often trade in a house like somebody might trade in a car after 5 or 6 or 7 years and just get a new one. But we're an old area with old housing stock, and there aren't very many new homes being built, especially close in on the eastern part of the main line. You have to go sort of pretty far west or north to get something new. So when people are considering whether they should renovate or move, there are a lot of questions that you might want to ask to come up with the answer. So the first question in my mind is, why are you thinking at all that your house is no longer adequate, that you want to make a change? If it has something to do with the neighborhood or the schools, or it's now too far a commute because you got a new job, in that case, you're probably going to have to move. If it has to do with something that maybe is changeable, like you say, well, now we have a new baby and the house has just gotten small for us. I don't think we can fit. Is it possible to do an addition? If you say, we really feel like we're more interested in having an open floor plan and this house just has a lot of walls, maybe there's a way to open up some of that space, and you might want to get a contractor in or an architect to see if there's a way to adapt your current home so that it works. Something to think about also is, obviously, the cost differential. What's it going to cost you if it is possible to make changes to your current house or property versus what it would cost to move? And you have to think about your listing fees for selling your house, your closing costs for buying a house, the difference in your monthly payments, all of those things. So clearly, cost is part of the question. Speaking of cost, again, what's causing you to move? Let's say you're retiring and your monthly income is going to go down. You may no longer be able to afford to stay in your neighborhood. And neighborhood, there's another question. What's the value to you of either staying in your neighborhood? Let's say you love your neighborhood. You have a really strong social group there. You just love the way it feels. You love when you drive in, it really feels like home. Maybe you'll work a little harder to see if some kind of renovation or addition can solve your issues before moving. On the other hand, what if your neighborhood has become really built up and you feel like it used to be suburban and now it feels like a city, and you want a lifestyle that is more rural, or you have more privacy? Then you probably want to move. So there's a bunch of ways to look at it and a bunch of questions to ask yourself to make the decision about whether it makes more sense to renovate or move. It's very complex. And one thing that I would strongly recommend is, if there is a choice, meaning if you think it's something that may be able to be done to your house to fix the problem, I think you should both get a couple of contractors or architects in to give you some ideas, and you should go out and look at houses that are on the market. Get a sense of what's out there, what's being offered, at what price. And that may help you decide if you're going to be in any better a situation or any more satisfied if you do move. So it is a hard decision, and I don't know how much this video will help, but I hope it helps some.